Willie D Live.
It's Willie D, y'all, back with another episode of information and instructions to help you navigate through this wild, crazy, beautiful world. In the studio, Antonio Tarver.
What's up, Willie D?
Hey, say, man, I don't know why, but I just felt like there should have been some claps and stuff. Probably need to put that in there. Do you ever miss the roar of the crowd, man? I know you still get it because you're commentating now, but I'm talking about that roar when you're coming out of that tunnel and then you get inside that ring and you in the best shape of your life. And you feel like you can beat anybody in the world, and people around, they looking at you, they got that hunger in their eyes, they got that excitement in their eyes, and you hear that ding.
No, bro, I don't miss it, man.
You don't
Not
miss
like
it?
that, not to that degree. You know what I'm saying? Personally, coming out and doing it myself, I don't miss it. I did it, you know what I'm saying? And but they doing a lot of these exhibitions and stuff like that. You know, if the right person called, maybe, but I think I still can do it, but not at that level, bro. You know what I'm saying? Being my age. So that's something you always think about.
Is it that you don't want to put your body through it? Because it takes a lot to get in. I tell people all the time, they'll ask me sometimes, they're like, hey, you think you can box? You think you still box? I say, I can fight.
Right.
I'm always in shape to fight.
Right.
Boxing.
That's something different.
It's a whole different level. And I don't think people appreciate what fighters have to go through enough. It's one thing that what y'all put yourself through, what you put your body through, right? It's another thing what you put your family through. You have to put your family through to make the sacrifices that you make to be a pugilist. You stand as the only man in boxing. You know where I'm going with this?
Yes, sir.
You're the only man in boxing to ever win the Nationals, World Championships, and Pan Ams, all in the same year to win gold.
Yes.
All in the same year. You think that record will ever be tied?
I hope so. I hope so. I hope we find another killer like that can go out there and demonstrate, you know what I'm saying, and represent the country in the amateurs. I mean, that's big, man, to travel all over the world and, win golds, come in first. That was big for us at that time, you know what I'm saying? So I represent it, man. That's all I can say. And that was right before the 1996 Olympics. So I went in
where you won bronze?
In Atlanta. Yeah. But I went in hot, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but hell of an experience, man. Amateurs.
When you look back at that 96 Olympics, is there anything you could have done differently, you think, to bring home the gold?
Personally, I don't think so. I mean, no, not at that time. I was locked in, but, sometime I feel like I didn't get the support, that I would call a Olympic gold hopeful, a guy that was like favored to win gold. I don't think I got the support.
The support from who?
Just from, my team, meaning the coaches and everything like that.
Team USA.
Team USA. Yeah, I don't think I got enough support.
Yeah. Call them out. What's their name?
Oh, no, that was moons ago, bro. Nah, but that's how I feel though, personally, man. I think, when you look at the position I was in, I didn't feel like anyone rallied around me, you know what I'm saying? And that's probably all I needed, you know what I'm saying, to capture that gold medal. But when those judges have their mind set up on what they want to do in the amateurs, it seems like, and they just fixed that Roy Jones debacle. They just brought that gold medal back. But sometimes, sometimes you can't undo what they have done. You know what I mean? To most of us, Americans, in the Olympics, and we have a history of bad decisions. Go all the way back to Evander Holyfield. You know what I'm saying? Even Floyd Mayweather in the same year in 96.
Heartbreaking.
But my story didn't get publicized. My story didn't get told. You know what I'm saying? But you can go back and listen and go back and watch. And the two commentators that called the fight, Al Bernstein is one, I believe, is one of the most credible, analysts in the game. And, you can see his reaction. So, I don't know. I just feel like I did enough to win, and I should have had an opportunity to fight for the gold medal in Atlanta. I really do.
Yeah. You're fresh off of commentating one of the biggest boxing matches in the history of boxing. When you was behind the mic calling the Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Crawford fight, uh, what did you see that the average viewer watching on television missed?
What they missed?
Yeah, what did you see? What do you see that maybe the average viewer on television may have missed?
I don't know, but I can just say I saw a fighter that had the focus and determination of, to do that, to be locked in, to fight Canelo like he did for 12 rounds, to have that type of focus. That's what stood out to me. Because, a lot of times in fights, we have lapses, you know what I mean, at certain times, you know what I mean? But he came out from round 1 to 12 determined, you know what I'm saying, to show his superiority. You know what I mean? And I think when you look back at every round, each and every round, he took some shots, you know what I mean, which was expected. He was in there with Canelo, you know what I'm saying? And it was an entertaining fight. It delivered. You know what I mean? And man, the excitement in the building was incredible, bro. And then you had to be there for this one. It was, 70,000 plus. They broke a record. No crowd has ever been that large in Allegiant Stadium, not even for a football game. So, we stamped boxing that night, man. And I just want to take my hat off to everybody that was involved. Netflix, TKO, Dana White, Turkey Al Sheik, Ring Magazine, everybody that made that event possible. And we showed that boxing is still, one of the biggest sports, if not the biggest sport in the game.
Yeah, boxing, man. You started boxing when?
10 years old.
At 10 years old. Did you win your first fight?
I did.
Yeah. By knockout?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. And that was enough right there to make you say, yeah, this is me.
No, it took a little bit more than that.
It took more than that?
Yeah, of course. It took a lot more than that, man. It's a constant grind. But that first win it started everything. I knew I had something in me. And, winning those trophies, man, really just made me feel good. Something about, training and winning and preparing. It really, came easy to me.
You still got some of your trophies?
No,
how much trophies?
I really don't.
What happened?
What happened to them?
Yeah.
Well, I gave them all to my mom. She took care of them and everything. And so, she has them put up and everything like that.
Okay, so y'all do have the trophies.
Yeah.
Would you be interested in selling any?
No. No, not at all.
Yeah. Man, speaking of Crawford, like you, Crawford is a cerebral fighter. When you were in the ring, it was more than just going in the ring, fighting. It was being prepared mentally and thinking of how do I break this guy down? Like, how much thought really goes into you preparing for a fight mentally, not physically, but mentally? How much of that is focus is required to come out on top in a fight?
For me, every fighter is different. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I think it's mentally, it's everything, bro. I think it controls, the body, it controls everything. So your body can only go so far, but your mind can take you places, you know what I'm saying, that your body can't go. And that's my old coach, Jimmy Williams, always used to tell me that.
Did you ever think that, do you ever go into the ring and overthinking? Like, this guy right here, he a beast. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to make sure I do this right. You ever find yourself while you're in the ring, almost being a little robotic? While you're in there in
processing it.
Yeah, you ever find yourself in there? Once you get in the ring, it's on. You already know.
You
exactly what you're gonna do.
No, you don't. You have to let it come to you. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what you're going to do unless you see what's going on in front of you. You know what I mean? So it's like you reading a book and you get into a guy's rhythm, you get into his mental as well. You know what I mean? And then you challenge him in ways you know that's going to put pressure on him. That's all. And I had some tools that I was able to use, you know what I mean? My two hands, you know, and I think I used them well.
When you're in a situation, when you're caught up in a situation where you're getting more than what you bargained for in that first round, how important is it to get to that corner and, you know, so that you can get the information that your corner saw from a distance that you can't see from inside?
Very important. Very important. You got to have eyes looking at things too and being able to break things down. A lot of fights are won between the rounds, making adjustments. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, Canelo, you know, take nothing away from him, but I would have liked to have seen him make some adjustments. It's like he stuck to the strip and he really wasn't having the success he was looking for. That's the time you would expect, you know, him and everyone in this corner and everything to try to make some adjustments. And it was easy to see what he needed to be doing. So, you know, and while he never did that, that kind of puzzled me, you know, for a fight as big as it was.
But I said that. I said that would happen. I said that Canelo has about 2 to 3 gears and Bud has about 9 or 10. You know, he is the ultimate adjuster. I've never seen a fighter just take his time to figure it out, you know, like to really, really analyze a fighter while he's in the ring. You know, you can do all the studying you want to outside the ring. Yep. Once you get in that ring, and, you know, it's like Tyson said, everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face. You know, once you get inside of that and, you know, it's really happening, he has an uncanny ability, man, to adjust. Like, okay, he's going to fight this way. Okay, well, I'm going to counter it this way. And even if you decide to change your game plan at some point in the fight, he'll make another adjustment to that game plan.
As you should.
Yeah.
And that's called boxing.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the art.
That's the art and the scientific form of the game. You know what I'm saying? And it all works from here.
Yeah. Yeah. You've been known to be like the type of fighter that's in person too, to be persistent, constantly proving people wrong. Like, you've been an underdog. I don't know if I've seen an underdog, besides Terrence, I don't know if I've seen an underdog so accomplished.
Thank you, bro.
You know,
appreciate that.
I don't know if I've seen an underdog so accomplished, man. And so you've been able to do that time and time and time again, man, to prove people wrong. Time and time and time again. Has there been a time where you was going through that moment where you had to prove somebody wrong and it was more difficult than you thought it would be? And if so, how did you push through?
And from a boxing standpoint?
Life.
Oh, in a life standpoint. I always had someone that believed in me, bro.
Yeah.
You feel me? I always had that type of support. You know what I'm saying? So, and I believed in myself. You know what I mean? I always had a vision for me, you know, and always made plans, made goals, set goals, and just kept pushing, bro. It ain't over until you quit. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. As long as you get up every day chasing your dream, you know, you're going to eventually catch up with it.
And where does that come from, man? Like, who raised you? That would TK Kirkland like said, who raised you?
The hood, bro. No, I'm joking. I had some beautiful women in my life, bro. My granny, you know what I'm saying? My mom, strong women. And
are both of them still alive?
My granny passed. My mom is still with us. Okay. Thank God. Bro, it's hard in Orlando, Florida, bro. It's hard to get out of that city. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a lot of people get out of that city, bro. And, you know, for obvious reasons, you know what I mean? But I just felt like, bro, it was in me. You know, I had a dream to do something great in my life, bro. And it happened for me because I didn't give up. You know what I'm saying? I was dealt early on 18 years old. You know what I mean? I'm struggling, going through life, you know, disappointed that things didn't work out. I was, you know, chasing hoop dreams and football dreams, but You know, I was just dreaming. You know what I'm saying? But when it came to boxing, you know what I mean, I was always, you know, the best, you know, and at every level. So when people, you know, say why, you know, I can when I can believe I can beat this person, like I don't have no reason to doubt myself. I've never been given a reason to doubt myself because I've always proven to myself when I train and I prepare, I can beat anybody, bro. And that's from a boxing standpoint. But it also translate in life. You know what I'm saying? Just got to keep getting up. And that's what boxing is all about.
Yeah, yeah. You keep getting up, man. You keep getting up. I looked up, man, and I saw you commentating. I said, yeah, he got that.
Thank you,
I said,
bro. I
he got
appreciate
that. He got that. You are a natural with that commentating, man. And you got that smile.
it. I got to
you,
thank Dr. Jackson
you
for
hit him
that.
with the smile.
I got to thank Dr. Jackson for that, my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Jack.
Nashville.
Now
Yes,
what
sir.
did that's your dentist?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when I think about that smile, the only other person that I see that had that smile, that infectious smile like that is was George Foreman.
George Foreman. Yeah.
George Foreman.
Yeah. And he'll put it on you. Yeah.
Yeah, George put that smile on you, man.
It's a wrap.
Yeah. Man, you got a relationship, you got a partnership with Netflix, right?
No, there's no relationship, partnership, man. I'm just blessed. You know what I'm saying? They just
So who reached out to you to commentate for the fight?
Oh man, I've been touching and shaking hands with everybody, bro. I've been to Saudi Arabia a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? Met Dana White. You know, I've just been plugging, man. Just been working, bro. You know what I mean? They call, I answer, and that's it. I'm on the
What
go.
I'm saying is, who called you for this fight to commentate this fight?
Who called me?
No, I'm saying somebody's stroking the check. I mean, who?
We have to expose all that today, bro.
Okay, all right. Well,
I just told you, I thank everybody that made it possible,
okay.
bro. I thanked a lot of people. You know, it took a lot of people, bro.
Yeah.
And we all working together. So I'm blessed and I'm appreciative.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see. I'm just trying to see because I know there's other fighters out there that trying to figure out, man, how do I, transition? You know, how do I go from being a fighter to now calling fights? You know, commentating fights. I know that a lot of guys they don't have the sharpness anymore because of the pounding that they took in the ring and stuff. And a lot of these guys' speech is slurred. Did you worry about any of that when you were fighting? I mean, you took a few blows, but you don't seem to be. It don't seem like it affected you at all, as far as like your speech and everything. You seem really, really sharp.
Yeah, I say, you know what? They never look at me as one of the best defensive fighters of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But then I asked, who kept more marbles than me? You feel me? Who kept more marbles than me, bro?
But you had that little slide, man.
I was slick.
Yeah.
You couldn't hit me with a handful of rice. You couldn't hit me with a handful of rice, bro.
A number of fighters, like you mentioned, don't have all the marbles. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, who kept more marbles than me? You know, like a lot of fighters, they can't really have a career commentating whatever, even though they have the track record. They have a stellar career. They can't really commentate because they took too many blows to the head. And what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, my trainer taught me well, bro. He was a real scientific trainer, old school throwback, Jimmy Abu Williams, man. Rest in peace. And I learned early, 10. I was learning this stuff at an early age, bro. You know what I'm saying? 11, 12, 13. I was winning. I was state champion. And I was doing the same thing I had to do as I got older when I was young. So it was just schooling. And I had a team, bro. You talk about the Crump. In Orlando, we had a team. Southwest Boys Club and Church Street Station. Some of the most gifted, talented young men you ever want to see with a D. I'm talking about, it was a lot of us, bro. Jimmy, Jesse Williams, James and Jesse Williams. I mean, Tommy Dixon. Man, I can go on and on. Choo Choo Bell, Dwayne Foster, Ricky Williams. I mean, Max Sonnen, lost him. That's my brother. That's my closest friend growing up. And we both boxed, and he got killed shortly after he turned about 19, going to Bethune-Cookman. They killed my boy, man. And we had 3 sisters. That's what we had in common. You know what I mean? So we was the only boy. He was the second oldest, and I was the second oldest. And we just had a real friendship. And that was one of the first times that I witnessed and felt loss, you know what I'm saying, of someone that I really loved and had a real tight relationship with. And we wasn't really together like that because I had moved across on the other side of town, and he was a year or 2 older than me. He went to college and stuff like that. So we kind of separated, but I found out that they murdered my guy. And that was the first time I had to deal with that by myself, and, just had to handle it. Max Sonnen. And I've been trying to reach out to his family and everything, man. So if they're listening, or anybody that know them that used to live right off Riley in Orlando, reach out to me. You can reach me at Antonio Tarver on social media. It would be great to connect with his sisters and see how they're doing.
Right. How was it? You grew up in where? I know you grew up in Florida.
Yeah, Florida, Orlando, Florida.
Oh, you actually grew up in, and that's where you're still living in.
No, I'm in Tampa now.
Oh, yeah.
I've been in Tampa since '96, bro.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But it's about an hour away, so close to home.
You played football, you played basketball. Which one were you best at? Besides, between football and basketball.
I could play basketball real good. Football, I had a love for, but I wasn't fast. So that was the thing that slowed me down. Running wise, I wasn't fast, but I was a really good athlete, because I always put my heart in everything I did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. That high school basketball is a big deal now because these guys can now get paid. They don't have to go all the way to the pros. They can take the leap to college, and boom, they can come up right
away.
Yeah, millions. I wonder what it would be like if they had boxing, high school boxing. You ever thought about that?
That'd be crazy.
If they had high school boxing, that would be something different.
It really would.
And that would be a big deal. Yeah, I was thinking about the fight between you and Roy Jones. Something that obviously you and Roy, y'all had a trilogy, so y'all kind of join at the hip now. Like it's hard to think of Roy Jones and not think of Antonio Tarver. Hard to think of Antonio Tarver and not think of Roy Jones because even though both of y'all had stellar independent careers, it's not often that fighters fight 3 times. And I think the first fight, it was a draw. Am I right?
No, he won the first fight.
That's right. So Roy won the first fight, you won the second fight, and then you won the third fight by unanimous decision. You won the second fight by knockout. How did you prepare for each fight? Because it seemed each fight had different results. So I want to know, like, did you do something different each fight, or did you have the same regimen?
No, nothing's ever the same. No, you got to switch it up. You know what I'm saying? I went back and tried to get better because I felt like I had to improve on what I didn't do in the first fight. But personally, to me, I felt like I won the fight. You know what I'm saying? And I took it kind of personal. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? At the time. But looking back, it's just like, this fight here. Canelo was the big star and everything. And Crawford got it done. And he got it done fair and square. You know what I'm saying? Even though I don't know if you agree with the 115, 113 scorecard.
I did.
That means that if Canelo would have won one of those championship rounds by that much, it would have been a draw. I don't think I saw a fight that close. It's not taking anything away from Canelo. And I thought Crawford won rounds more decisive than Canelo. When Canelo won rounds, you know what I mean? They were not decisive.
They were
You know
questionable.
what I mean? It was questionable,
You know,
right?
like, and that's not taking anything away from Canelo because he is a warrior. He is a great, great fighter. But styles make fights.
Styles make
And
fights.
this is why most boxing pundits and fighters themselves, boxers, had Crawford picked to win the fight.
Yeah. I've been a Crawford fan. I definitely didn't jump on no bandwagon, but you know, I just thought that if he can make the weight properly, and he was looking like, he wasn't as, they say he got to move up. He don't have to move up. He's already there. The man was like 186. They showed about possibly 8-9 months ago. So when you look back at it, even though I would have wanted him to get a rep, a fight in within that year, he actually been training a whole year for a fight like this. Because that weight, putting it on right, it takes time. And you can see his body. He looked good in the skin. He did it the right way. They weighed in the same weight. And I knew that right then. I'm like, well, they're going to hydrate probably the same too. So even on fight night, Canelo didn't have the advantage of the weight, which everybody thought that would be his calling card. Right. So if you take that away and Crawford is able to move with the weight he's gained, which obviously you saw he had no problem carrying that weight around for 12 rounds. So he was in his natural weight. You know what I mean? So that, from an educated standpoint, I was thinking Crawford probably was really working hard to get down to 47. That's why when he got to 54, he didn't have to really come back and fight someone at 160 just to feel comfortable at 168.
Most people are now finally recognizing Crawford as one of the best. Where do you put him?
I got to put him number one right now. You know what I'm saying? From his accomplishment, 3-time undisputed champion, and who he took the crown from last night. Canelo Alvarez makes it a big win, makes it a huge win. When you look at Canelo, could be arguably the best Mexican champion they've ever had. Questionably, arguably, because Julio Cesar Chavez is the most beloved.
I ain't never. Yeah.
He's definitely the most beloved.
Julio is the most beloved, but I also put him ahead of Canelo. And again, I like Canelo. I think he's great. But Julio Cesar Chavez,
pound for pound.
Pound for pound. If I had to pick one Mexican in the world, if they gave me one pick, they said, look, Willie D, you're getting ready to go to war. You need to pick one Mexican. Man, hey, what's up with Julio Cesar
Chavez? Yeah.
Man. Mean, bad, mean. Machine.
Killer.
Love it, man. And having said that, though, Sweet Pea whooped him.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet Pea absolutely won that fight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I think he knew. He knew. R.I.P. to Sweet Pea.
Yeah.
Did you have a relationship with Sweet Pea?
Not a personal relationship, but he was definitely one of my favorite fighters back in the day, being southpaw, representing the Olympics, winning the gold. And this, as great as he was in his career, of course, I did have a chance to go to training camp with him down in Fort Pierce one time, met him down there. He was with George Benton, his great trainer. And I met Lou Duva down there for the first time, had a really, really memorable time. And I saw him spar Ed Hobson, a guy from St. Louis. And that was a great sparring session. And, I realized then, how to really be poised and sharp. Sweet Pea was sharp. He didn't win many sparring sessions. And I mean, like, he really didn't work on a lot of offense. He always pretty much worked on his defense when you saw him in there working. You know what I mean? He was a consummate pro. And it just came easy to him. He was one of those type of fighters.
What fighters out there, or is there a fighter out there that you're really, really, really good friends with? And the reason why I asked that is because I was talking to this girl the other day, and I was telling her about the fight, about the Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Crawford fight. And she said, how do they fight each other? don't you have to be angry to fight somebody? Say, no, you can just put up the right amount of money, or if you need, you know what I'm saying? And you can fight. But is there a fighter out there that I know that a lot of fighters have relationships and some are closer than others, but what fighter out there are you closest to?
Oh man, my brother, bro, Winky Wright. Winky Wright, bro.
Wink.
That's
Yeah.
my man.
Yeah.
50 grand. That's my guy, bro. We play golf all the time, and we've had a relationship that's lasted since about 97.
Yeah.
You know, I used to be Winky main sparring partner, bro.
Yeah.
We had a lot of work together. We did a lot of work together.
How did that conversation go when you are good friends with a guy that's in your same weight class or near your same weight class? Do y'all ever, did y'all ever have a conversation about maybe one day y'all will meet in the ring?
No. Every time it was mad, he was getting ready for fights, and I was really the only guy that can truly stand in there and he don't knock him out or he don't hurt him or destroy him, or someone that can give him some work back,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And that was when I was an amateur. You know, I used to come all the way down to St. Pete and work with Winky, you know, truth be told, and I learned a lot from Champ, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Just those sparring sessions, you know what I mean? And really helped me with my experience. So I had a lot of experience when I took those steps to the professional rings. And I have a lot to thank Winky Wright for that. And we golf all the time. That's my boy, real close. We go out, we, stay connected. We always talk. He was out here this weekend. I hate I didn't get a chance to play golf with him, bro.
Oh man, you should have let me know.
Yeah, Winky was in town.
Yeah. Okay. Winky is another fighter, man, out there, that it's like the people on the inside respect, they know what he did, they know how good he is, but he seemed like Winky is one of those guys who never really got his props,
It's just due.
Yeah,
it's just
never
due.
really just got his props. What do you attribute that to?
Probably old media, bro. I don't know. But Winky was a dog, bro.
Yeah.
He was hard to hit. And man, he had a jab that felt like a right hand.
Boom.
You know what I'm saying? And he's not left-handed. He's not left-handed. He played golf right-handed and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But he had that left-hand jab where you couldn't get through it. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, he helped me work on my defense a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, he just a tough mentally, he was real tough, skillful, and determined. He got some big names on his resume. But the one fight I wish we would have seen Winky Wright in, that was that De La Hoya fight, man. I really wanted to see him, be the first guy to really, sit De La Hoya down. I think he would have beat De La Hoya at the prime of his career.
How come that fight never happened?
I'm not sure. You know what I mean? I would have wanted to see him get that fight. I think he had the right style to give De La Hoya problems, just like he did Shane Mosley.
Man, let's talk about the alphabet soup. The WBA, the WBC, IBF, WBO. Man, are they necessary now? Like the way the game has changed, are those sanctioning bodies still necessary, or should that be just one?
Oh, man, I don't want to. I love all those guys, man. I know, they've some of those sanctioning bodies. It's necessary for guys that need that belt, for the recognition to get on to the next and get the superstardom that they're thriving for, But yeah, I mean, if it's done right, bro, and they continue to make sure they look out for us, the fighters. You know what I'm saying? Because we the one that make the sport go. You know what I'm saying? And we the one lay it all on the line. You know what I mean? And so as long as they taking care of us and doing the right thing by us, bro, represent the crown. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be the one put a dagger in nobody's heart.
What about put union in somebody's heart? What about a union? Boxing is my favorite sport.
Yeah.
And it hurts my heart, man, to see so many guys that I love that gave so much to the game who are not being taken care of after they leave that ring. And I ain't talking about guys who are 50 and 60, 70 years old. I'm talking about some of these guys are 30, 30 something, what is the possibility of boxing ever being unionized?
Man, I'm just outsider, bro. You know what I mean? That's kind of like
You're not an
over my
outsider.
pay scale. You
No,
feel
you
me,
are
bro?
not an
But
outsider. You are an insider, bro.
how can
And
that?
you are a voice of reason and you are respected. People love you. You got a voice bigger than what you could ever imagine. I'm telling you, bro, like you you got influence.
But just thinking about it right now, I think that's something that you have to really get in the room and really structure, a blueprint that speaks, on everything that people are saying that they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that would work. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at these other organized sports, somehow they all seem to thrive. When you look at hockey, you look at baseball, you look at football, can boxing be, organized to that structure to where, everything is monetized in that way? I don't know that, but it's guys out there are working hard to try to uh, create a plan that can, maybe represent something for everyone involved. And, and then you got, how do you scale it? You know what I mean? So, but if it's an international sport and it's a worldwide sport, then let's get these heads together and do something that can be felt worldwide when it comes down to the organization of boxing and making sure no one is left behind. And I don't know how we get there, but
Well, I think you get there with people who mean right, people who have good intentions. Because y'all got the money is there, there is structure there. Wherever that needs to be structured, there's structure. For example, anytime there's a major event, uh, they know how to structure the ticketing. They know, where ain't nobody let slide into the arena for free. Ain't nobody getting in the arena free. Uh, they know how to set up the broadcasting, whether it's pay per view or whether it's being shown on Netflix. Uh, they know how to stroke the checks, how to collect. Like all of these things exist. You have the talent. Uh, Even when you think about post career, where you guys have uh, a platform where you can transition to after you leave boxing, assuming that you are still in good health, you can transition into being an analyst or a commentator or something along those lines. So y'all got that in place like the other sports, the other sports entities do. Y'all got that in place. That union, I think, could happen if those those sanctioning bodies all came together, and perhaps for that to happen, when I say come together, I mean as one. Come together as one and have one body, not a WBO, WBA, WBC, whatever the name of it's going to be. One name, you know, under boxing. So you have that one name, and now you create the union to represent the fighters. And now, so you have the union representative talking to the team's representatives. And
so you're saying make boxing a team type of
no,
structure,
no, what I'm saying
a
is
league type
make it more like a league. Yeah, yeah, more like a
that
league.
they
Like,
have a year schedule and everything,
yeah,
and fights around the world and the
yeah, and I think I think some of these fights need to be more they need to have more mandatory fights. Like these fights, I like the idea of fighters having the independence to fight who they want to fight and all of that, but I think in order to have some structure, these mandatories have to take place because this is this is a generation of fight lovers who are not seeing the best fights all the time. That should be a mega fight every 6 months. That should be a very big fight that everybody's looking toward. Just like it was when we were growing up. You know, shit, just like it was when you was fighting. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was a mega fight. Every 6 months, you had a mega fight. We could count on that. We knew every year we're gonna have a big fight in the spring. We're gonna have a big fight in the fall.
Right.
We know a big fight coming up. We had that every year. That's not happening because these guys are ducking. You know, a lot of guys are ducking. Some of these guys are not ducking, but you know, a lot of these guys are ducking. And I think the best fights the best, and that's how boxing gets resurrected and regains its respect because we saw a good template for it when Crawford fought Alvarez. That's the template. Let the best fight the best and give incentives for the knockouts. You know, if you want to do that, that's fine. But I think that's a good idea. Just like they have incentives in football and basketball and baseball, you get incentives. If you hit a home run, you make another $5 million or whatever. You hit 12 home runs or 38 home runs, whatever that number is. You have incentives. And now you having fighters coming to the ring and they giving it everything that they have. I think that's the way you get to the union. That's the way you get to protecting the fighters because the fighters are the number one commodity in boxing. And if you do not protect the fighters, then what are you doing?
Well, I'm going to speak on the fact that you say there's no more big fights happening like they used to happen back in the day. I think the insurgent with Turkey Al-Sheikh, he's been making some amazing cards this year. You know what I mean? I think that's going to continue. You know, TKO, this was their first event with Dana White. So this, 26, and I think Dana said he want to see fights regularly now, once a week, and having that type of scheduling. You know, like they do UFC. Every week you can find some fighters competing all over the world. And I think that will, excite the people, especially if it's not pay-per-view every time. You know, we got to get back to the network TV for boxing. You know what I mean? So we can see it regularly, once a week. Friday night fights on ESPN, all that used to be big. You know what I mean? When you're seeing these guys.
World of Sports, all of that.
Yeah, seeing them regularly on TV, building their careers, and getting them ready for these major platforms.
Yeah. Man, talk about your kids. I know you're a good daddy. You're a good dude, so I know you're a good daddy. You know, I always say that if you find a guy that's a good father, you'll find a good man.
Right.
Because it's difficult for a lot of men to put themselves second to anybody. You know what I'm saying? But I know you're a good daddy. So talk about them kids, man. You got a boy and a girl. How old are they?
My daughter's 23 and my son is 37. Antonio Jr. and Taylor Dion Tarver.
Right.
I love my kids, bro. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's tough at times. It's no matter what you try to do, sometimes it's not successful because people on the other end blocking. So it's never really been a direct situation. It's always having to go through somebody. But Junior, I love my son to death, man. It's like had all the talent in the world. Sometimes you got to be willing to be led. You know what I'm saying? And I did everything to try to really help him get his situation going. I thought he wanted to box. I never didn't think he didn't love the game. But when you don't really want to sacrifice what it takes to show up every day and at least put in, your actions gotta match your words. And that's just, I'll tell anybody that. If you speaking on it, you gotta be able to match it with your actions. And I just think he was a talent, bro. He was a talent. I got him to 11-0 with 7 knockouts. You know what I mean? And I thought he was really coming into his own on his last fight. We did a fight in Tampa, packed it out, and the energy was crazy. He knocked the guy out that was 11-0 with 11 knockouts. I put him in tough. You know what I mean? So, and he showed up. and it was electrifying. And all of that motion, all of that energy just went up in smoke, bro. And it's been 2.5 years since then. And, my thing was, I mean, I felt like, bro, looking on the outside, looking in, just, I just started with Tarver's take and just, really wanting to, uh, just have a voice in the game because, you know, um, you know, if I get there, if I'll be able to help these guys a little bit easier to get to where they're going. You know what I'm saying? I'm managing and training fighters now. I only have one fighter. Junior was supposed to be the guy that really broke the door down. I wanted to pass him the torch, but he got to be willing to run with it. And I just think he wasn't willing to run with it.
Did he ever express to you that he maybe didn't have his heart into it?
Well, when he was growing up, he was raised in the gym, but I didn't try to force him to box. I always sit down, let me work. You know what I mean? I always beat him off the bags. But when he became an adult, he relocated down to Tampa, with the idea that he wanted to start boxing. I didn't even know anything about it. He started training, and about 3-4 months in, my boy, Slim, same guy you see out there, he come and tell me, junior boxing. I said, okay, cool. I'm gonna come see what he talking about. Because I never really forced him to box. I went down there, I saw him for the first time. I'm like, bro, if you're gonna do this, you're gonna have to do this right. He was just a aggressive fighter, but really didn't have no technique to the situation. So I started, helping him and, built what we built. But, you got to be willing to go across the finish line. And I just think, I tried everything I could to inspire, motivate, direct, and it never was received, Unfortunately, bro.
Yeah. I always say that you can't want something for someone more than they want it for themselves.
Exactly.
You'll drive yourself absolutely insane trying to do that, And so that's been a hurtful thing for me for some people that I've, had relationships with where you see all that potential, man. And you like,
if they only knew.
See all that potential and but the commitment is not there. The discipline is not there. And so you're going to box, man. Discipline.
You can't play boxing.
You start with discipline if you're going to box. You can't play boxing because you end up in a box.
Exactly, bro. Unfortunately, I found another fighter just came up. I've been training him since January, and this kid looks like he has all the ingredients to really, want to make moves and stay consistent. He show up every day, hadn't been late, and we never missed a date. And I love that energy about him. He's a committed, dedicated fighter. Kenzel Williams. Give him hell, Kenzel. He's only 2-0, but man, I like everything I see about this little kid because he locked in. And most of these young kids ain't locked in. These young men, they're not locked in. You know what I mean? They're not really, truly committed to the sport. And I believe he is. He has the support of his family. He got his dad right there. So they really, supporting him to make his dream come true. And I'm in the trenches with him. So.
Speaking of being in the trenches with fighters, my uncle, Melvin Dennis, used to fight. In fact, he fought Wilf Benitez on ABC Wide World of Sports. He fought to a decision, split decision. In any event, I see that a lot of fighters remind me of rappers and producers. They're not loyal. Yeah, that's right. I said it. They are not loyal. As soon as they see somebody else hot, look like that camp over there got it going on, they want to scurry over that. Yeah, they jump ship in a heartbeat. Does that ever concern you that, you putting a lot of energy into this guy, and I'm sure you're not just, a lot of times when you are with these guys, you're not just their manager or, their trainer, man. You become a father figure, you become a coach, you're a therapist, you become a loan officer, and all of these things, How much does it concern you that this guy, you could get that guy in the position where you want to be at, and as soon as he get there, when everybody else start checking him out, he try to dip on you?
Well, man, like that's all, ordained already, bro. You can't control nobody. People gonna do what they do. All you just try to do is instill, that good seed in people, bro. Like, be kind, and treat people how you want to be treated, respectfully. But you gotta stand on some honor though. You know what I mean? Gotta have your character right, bro. And so, I've been a bad judgment of character a few times, but I try to, uh, feel good about, the people I surround myself with from a character standpoint. And, that's all you can do is try to just make sure that you, continue to pour in all the time, bro. And it's lessons. You know what I mean? It's lessons. Like, I'm telling the kid just yesterday, come to Vegas, have a good time. But I told him there's pitfalls out here too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always preaching to the guy because my coach always preached to me. We don't always have to be in a gym to have a training session. We can have a phone call. And what I'm talking about going to help you in your sport. In the sport that you love, is going to help you protect yourself in and outside the ring. They say protect yourself at all times.
Mm-hmm.
That's all times.
Glenn Johnson won. What happened?
Nothing. I got robbed. Yeah, I got robbed, bro. Simple as that. It was a hell of a fight. But, if you go back and judge the fight, I think I won that fight. It was a tough fight. I mean, but go back and look.
I went back and
my thing is, look at the detail. And so what was your thought of it?
I thought you won the fight.
Okay.
I mean, I thought you won the fight. The thing is this, like, sometimes people have ulterior motives. They want to see this fight, depending on who you sign with, you know, who's promoting the fight. Or you come in
A side, B side.
Yeah, you know.
Are you on that side of the street?
Right. That's the thing that I really despise about boxing is people getting robbed. The people when you go out there, man, and you put that work in, and you put your heart on the line, man, you put your life on the line, and then you get robbed.
Yeah, that's tough.
That ain't cool. And I know you was was anxious for that rematch. You was anxious because y'all fought. What was
4 months later? 4 months later, yeah.
4 months later, you got right back in. Took care of business.
And that's always been my stamp. If you beat me, I want it right back, bro.
Yeah.
You feel me? And it's one time I didn't get that right back. That was against Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted that right back. You know what I mean? I'm 3-0 in right backs.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
And man, that's the one that I think got away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never had a chance to avenge that loss because they made sure I didn't get the rematch.
Yeah. The Hopkins fight. What do you remember about that fight the most?
Off night. Terrible off night, bro. And I'll never know why. But I put that work in, I was ready. It's just one of those nights that I never showed up to that fight, obviously. And I never fought like that. Go back and watch that fight, bro. I never fought like that in my life. I'm watching right hands coming, couldn't get out the way. It was a weird night, bro.
Ain't that crazy?
It was a weird
night. See
that
damn fight when you in that ring and that punch coming and you see it coming and you can't get out the way fast enough. That's some crazy stuff, ain't it?
But man, when you look back at what makes me a good fighter, it's technique, skill set. You know what I mean? Hopkins was never really noted for no skill set. He was a determined, dogged type fighter. Just put pressure on him. But technique-wise, you look at amateur boxing.
That was his technique.
But when you look at amateur boxing, bro, but I never got outboxed or outclassed in a boxing match in my life, bro. And Hopkins outclassed me in a boxing match, bro. That don't even sound right. Will it D?
Well, you ask Hopkins, that's the executioner, man.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you know the game, That don't sound right, bro. I ain't never been outclassed in a boxing match, bro. I'm going to compete. I'm going to compete, bro. It's going down to the wire. I don't care who you is. I'm going to give you the fight of your life. And I didn't compete that night for some reason, bro.
Yeah.
And I just believe it's no shame losing to a great fighter like Hopkins. I just felt like he never fought Antonio Tarver. You feel me? For whatever reason. I mean, he never really faced me, bro, because everything that made me who I am, I didn't display that. You know what I mean? My jab, my left hand, my balance. I was everywhere in that fight, bro. It was like, come on, bro. Bro. It's like it was a dream that I never woke up from, bro.
So did Bernard ever give you a reason why he didn't want to run it back?
I don't think he had control of that, bro. For real, for real. I don't think he had no control over that.
Man, how frustrating is it when you are training for a fight and the fight is like right around the corner and you get sidelined by an injury, whether you or your opponent gets sidelined by an injury, and you got to hit the reset button, or maybe you know, maybe postpone the fight or find another fighter.
That's tough, depending on what situation it is, because you expecting things, you depending on things. It could be tough, bro.
Counting that money.
Counting up, yeah, and you budgeting. You feel me? So
yeah.
it can be detrimental for sure, detrimental to anybody. You know what I mean? And you disappointed, you know, let down, you feeling rejected, but it depends on the reason. It depends on the reason. Sometimes injuries happen, bro, and you can't do nothing about it. Because, you get older, I went in fights sometime with injured to the point where I didn't know how I was going to perform.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get in there, that adrenaline start running and you start thinking about everything and you find a way. You know what I mean? And Jonathan Banks was one of those fights, bro. I didn't know how we was going to perform in that fight because we had the training camp from hell. Just cut my hand right there, needed stitches. And then
how'd you cut your hand?
Messing around in Saint, playing around accidentally. Yeah, it's crazy. Then had an ankle injury at the time. Man, it was just hard to run, but I didn't stop trying. So I think that mentally helped me in the fight. It's one of my heavyweights fights, so I didn't have to lose weight. Thank God. I think that's the only thing that saved me. If I would have had to lose weight or make a certain weight, I probably wouldn't have been able to accept that fight. But since it was heavyweight, you know what I mean? I didn't have to kill myself to make weight or anything. So I just trained on my technique and everything. I ran, but it took me about a quarter mile to get a gait to finish the 3 miles. So I was always in pain that whole camp and didn't really know how I would fight. And I still knocked him out in the 9th round. And I think it was one of my better performances at heavyweight division, which I was undefeated at the heavyweight division, bro. And for whatever reason, I never got a championship shot, never got a title shot. And I felt bad about that. I felt like on any given day, I could have beat anybody. And not having a chance to prove that kind of like was a bitter sweet pill. And I retired just after 2015. I just say, bro, because it took me like 2 years. I was trying to get fights, training for fights that was supposed to happen, that didn't happen, guys pulling out. I'm like, bro, I just say, man, let me just start doing something else, bro. So took my time, relaxed, was enjoying retirement for a while until I just like I said, I was noticing that they weren't really calling the fights right from what I was seeing. It was like a lot was missing. So I said, man, let me get out there in the podcast world. Let me start with Tarver's Take. Let me pick this mic up and see what happened. I started breaking down these fights, before the big fights are happening. I'll break them down first and give my opinion and take on what I'm seeing. And, people started tuning in, dialing in and, giving their support and testimony, I would call it. It was giving their testimony on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So reading those testimonies, bro, really kept me going. You know what I mean? Because, and it wasn't long before, people started hitting me up, and inviting me to, be a part of their show and commentate. That's how everything happened for me.
Mm. Yeah, build it and they'll come. Yeah. Some of those people that be following you on Tarver's Take be gambling off your takes, huh?
You notice them bets getting bigger, bro? I need my cut, bro, for real.
You got some good takes, man. You sharp. I don't think you missed yet as far as any of the takes that I saw you do for any of the big fights that I watched. I don't think you missed. I don't think you missed yet. You pretty good with those takes.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Being inside that ring and really knowing, what I'm saying, what's taking place in there through my experience, bro. It's like I can morph inside those guys. I can get in that fight mentally. You know what I'm saying? And when I'm in that fight mentally, it's like I got that thing on. I can see it clear. You know what I mean? And sometimes I can even, see that stuff, man, before it happens, because just from their body language and how they're, approaching the fight. But I really sit down and try to dissect. I always say put them under the microscope. Break them down scientifically, bro, from the toes to the feet. I mean, from the toes to the head, all the way.
The guy that you training now, what's his name?
Kenzel Williams.
Are you his trainer, manager, or both?
Trainer, manager, yes.
Yeah. Which one do you have the most enjoyment from? Which one do you get the most enjoyment from?
I love it all. Yeah. I love it all, bro. Just like I said, the training, he's been receptive to everything. Really fast learner. And I think this kid really knows where he wants to go.
What division is he playing?
122. Love that division, 122.
Yeah.
A lot of Japanese fighters dominate those lower ranks. Nakatani, Inoue, those type of guys. And they even got young fighters that they're, really pushing right now. So, I think if he continue to look good and do what he do, keep winning these fights. I got another fight for him November 7th at Gulfstream in Miami. So make sure y'all get down there if you're in Florida. They love us in Miami. We fought 3 times down there already under America Presents with Ron Johnson. That's my boy. Doing a lot of good things, man. So just want to keep this kid going because he keeps showing up every day. And that's what I tell him. You keep showing up every day, you're going to be surprised where you end up in 2 years.
How old is he?
22 years old. Yeah.
22. And when was his last fight?
We just had one in April, I think. Yeah. No, July. I'm sorry. He just had one in July in Miami, bro. Just about a month and a half ago. Yeah, my bad.
So 4 months. Okay. So
no, he fought about 2 months ago.
No, I'm saying it'll be 4 months when he fight again.
Oh yeah.
By the time he fight again, it'll be 4 months.
Yeah.
Why not put him? Why not have him fight more frequently?
No, we be sparring. So those sparring sessions be like fights. You got to get them lessons first and see how his progression go. You know what I'm saying? But he gonna get the necessary reps. But we can't just burn him out. But we gonna get him busy next year.
Did he have an amateur career?
Yeah, he had about 35 amateur fights, but a kid that was involved in a lot of other sports. But he's an athlete, smart kid, knows some Spanish. He's a music producer, so he's a smart guy. You know what I mean? Mannerable, humble. One of those guys that's business, young man that's real business oriented. So I'm having a thrill, man, just watching this kid evolve and develop into, I think it's gonna be a good fighter, bro. I've always had foresight in a lot of things. I can see things, as long as people continue to do what they do, keep bringing the same energy. I mean, this kid's gonna be amazing.
Yeah. What's your relationship like with Roy Jones these days?
Love Roy, man. We was hanging out last night. That's my guy, bro. Yeah, that's my guy, man. We talking about some things, doing some things together. Can't wait. Can't really put it out right now, but we talking, bro. And like you said, if you if you say Roy Jones, you got to say Tarver. You know, we've been synonymous, parallel since 13 years old. And one of the...
Did y'all fight? Y'all didn't fight him.
Yeah, we fought at 13. Yeah,
y'all did?
At 13.
What?
Yeah.
And who won?
Roy Jones. He whooped my ass that time. Yeah. He had more experience than me, bro. He had his daddy train him. So, you know, we wasn't that, we were serious, but I think his training methods and he was in much better shape than us. And at that time, he had a lot more experience than me. He really did. But, you know, it wasn't no easy fight for him. We got down. Now, I won the first round. He won the second. He won the third. You know, so let Roy tell it, we 2-2. Let Roy tell it, we 2-2, bro.
Yeah. You know, what's crazy is, man, like, it's so many of these guys out here in the boxing world that I love, man. And Roy is one of those dudes, man. You're one of those dudes. It's how difficult is it to fight a guy that you actually like? At what point did you and Roy become friends? Was it after y'all got through, y'all finished y'all trilogy, or was it at some point in between?
Oh man, I've always respected Roy. Had a great deal of respect for Roy. You know what I'm saying? Seeing his career and just watching his career. Yeah, Roy used to invite me down to Pensacola all the time, bro. Yeah.
Were y'all friends before y'all professional fight?
Yeah, we had a mutual respect for each other. We've done things, events together and everything. He came out, commentated some of the USA fights, you know what I mean, when we were amateurs, and Roy always had a mutual respect for me because he know how hard it was for me to come up, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate him, bro. Whether he had to fight me again or not. You know what I'm saying? He fought me, and it was what it was. But I appreciate him giving me the opportunity. You know
but how did you gear up to fight a guy that you like? How do you gear up to fight a guy?
It's competition.
Yeah.
It's competition, Willie D, at the end of the day, bro. And just the way I was raised, bro, it's like, it's always it's me against the world. So it's like, I ain't never had no problem betting on myself. Just never had a problem with it. Mm-hmm. And I ain't never seen a man, I ain't never been defeated before I got in that ring. I ain't never looked it's always been eye to eye, bro.
That's half the battle right there.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like that. You know what I mean? I just feel like that, bro. Because when you look at how gifted and good Roy Jones was, bro, come on, bro. It's like, they can talk that all they want, but they know. We ain't never seen nothing like that before. Come on. I'm good. Because I was looking up like this for all my career almost. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And so just to reach that plateau, bro, that just shows that, man, hard work, dedication, commitment, and just belief in yourself, bro. You got to believe in yourself first. If you can't see it, bro, how you going to be it? And I ain't never doubt myself because I had skills, bro. Not ever being cut in a fight. As many fights I've been in, and those fights, I ain't never been cut. Never had my back on the mat. Bro, that's a testament to my focus and my skill set and my determination and talent. A lot of fighters can't say that.
What's the time that has to elapse after you retire before you can be eligible for the Hall of Fame? Because I know you and Roy shoe-ins. What type of time?
Oh, I'm not a shoe-in. I've been on that ballot about 4 years now, 4 or 5 years.
You've been on the ballot?
Yeah.
Man, who we
ballot,
got?
Bro.
I'm gonna fix it. Now it's time for some ass kicking. Who the hell running this thing, man? Who running this thing?
Bro, Canastota.
Canastota, your ass need to retire. I know Antonio can't say it, but your ass need to retire. The hell is wrong with these people, man? Like,
hey, you know Roger Mayweather said a long time ago.
Man.
You know what he said? His famous quote. They don't know shit about boxing.
Bro. Don't know shit about boxing. Get your ass. You've been on the ballot 4 times?
About 4 or 5 years now, man.
Man, so Well, once you're on the ballot, you stay on the ballot, or do
I'm not
come
sure
back up?
I'm not sure how it works. I don't know. It's not like the NFL and all that. I'm not sure how they have it. If you can stay on so many years, then I don't know how they got it set up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Somebody hating. Straight up.
Well, you know they've been doing that.
Hating,
you know they've been doing that.
Somebody hating. This is what that pissed me off about these type of organizations, man. People give everything they got to these organizations to help these organizations flourish and make so much money, you know, finance their lifestyle, take care of their children, send them to college, build them a great life and all of this. And then, you know, they take a dump on them the way they did I'm saying DL, but Deion Sanders gave so much to the NFL for them to be treating him like they've treated him and treated his sons. They should be protected. They should be hands off. Like, no, you don't play with them. All of the money. Man, there was people watching Sunday football just to see Deion Sanders. You know,
for sure.
Like for all the money that he made the NFL, for all the not just the NFL, the brands and all these people that made money off it. And now you want to try to you want to like you want to limit his son's action because they got actually nuts. They're using the nuts that they were born with. You know, they're not cowering. They're not acting like little heifers.
Right.
You know what I'm
right.
Like, they're young men who stand on business. You know, and they're very respectful too.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So for them to try to treat them like that and hit that man in the pocket the way they did, because they probably cost them a good $40-50 million by not drafting him in the first round. That was just really, really dirty. I can't stand the NFL. I don't like none of them.
Nothing about it, huh?
I don't like nothing about them. I don't like them at all. I do not like the sanctioning bodies of, I don't like the alphabet soup. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like them, man. I don't like the way they be doing my people like that, man. I don't like that, man. Yeah.
We're gonna pray they get it right, bro. We're gonna pray they get it right real soon, bro.
Well, I think we're done with praying. It's time for some action.
Action. Time for some action.
It's time for some
I heard
action.
that.
Wonder Twin Powers active.
That's it. Yeah.
yeah. Antonio, man, thanks for sitting down with
me. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Well, you know, we've been talking about this moment for a minute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It finally came, like that fight you've been pursuing.
It finally came.
Yeah, we finally got here.
That part.
Thank you, man.
I appreciate it.
And thank you for everything you did for boxing.
Appreciate that too. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
My God.
Ladies and gentlemen, Antonio Tarver. No more talk.